What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. I want to talk about several different things here that Congress is talking about and what's going on here in our country right now. And first, if you're new to our channel or if you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos here that come out here on our channel on a daily basis. Yeah, it's completely free to do so. And if you like these videos, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. And let's jump right in. Here we go. Okay, I want to show you guys this. Let me know your thoughts about this. I personally think this is kind of crazy because like the oil and gas industry, those oil companies are literally just taking advantage of Americans. So is the pharmaceutical industry. The pharmaceutical industry is completely just raking Americans over the coals. Let me know your thoughts on this. A Senate Republican bill would repeal the Democratic drug pricing law that makes it so the government can negotiate down prescription drug pricing. Like they just passed a law that can cap insulin at $35 a month for everybody on Medicare. Remember that Senate Republicans blocked the $35 cap on insulin for private healthcare insurance, which millions of people were disappointed on because insulin is a life-saving drug. And people die from not being able to afford it because it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Insulin is just one example of it, but it's a very good example because it's a life-saving drug. We talk about blood pressure medicine, cancer medicine, any type of medicine. Medicine is getting more and more and more expensive by the year, extraordinarily expensive, faster than the price of inflation, which is already out of control. But let me know your thoughts on this. Look at this. Senate Republicans on Friday introduced a bill that would roll back the prescription drug pricing reforms included in the sweeping Inflation Reduction Act. Now, I get that Republicans are just against pretty much everything the Democrats do and Democrats vice versa. But if you're a Republican, please let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Again, I'm not from either party, but I am for the good of the people, and lowering prescription drug pricing is a good thing for Americans. At least I would think so. So Republicans say, including in this measure, in their proposal, allowing the Medicare to negotiate prescription drug pricing and capping annual drug expenses for many seniors, they say is a bad thing. This is what the Inflation Reduction Act does. It allows Medicare to negotiate the prescription drug pricing and capping annual drug expenses for many seniors. They want to repeal this. They don't think this is a good thing. Again, let me know your thoughts on this. Republican Senators James Lankford from Oklahoma, Mike Lee from Utah, Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming, and Republican Senator Marco Rubio from Florida introduced the Protecting Drug Innovation Act on Friday. I don't know, maybe it should be Protecting the Prescription Drug Companies Profits Act. I don't know. Saying that they wanted to pull back government authority over prices of drugs covered by Medicare. The Inflation Reduction Act was passed and signed into law in August with no Republican votes for it. The bill allows Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices for the first time in the program's history. So basically, right now, they can charge Medicare and the 60 million people on Medicare whatever price they want. Now, Medicare will be able to negotiate these prices down, which is a good thing, right? It also places a $2,000 out-of-pocket cap maximum when it goes into effect. Right now, there's no maximum out-of-pocket cap. So what would you rather have? A $2,000 maximum deductible cap, which is about $166 a month, or no maximum out-of-pocket cap where you could spend $4,000 or $6,000 or $8,000. Remember that when it comes to $2,000 for a year, that's about $166 a month if you divide it by 12. Some prescription drugs, even like 2 months of 3 months of insulin sometimes can hit that. Some cancer-saving drugs, some different type of drugs can be $2,000 for one of them, as well as a $35 a month cap for insulin. And remember that Republicans voted no. There was a few Republicans that voted yes, and they only fell about 3 or 4 votes short on that for private healthcare insurance. Again, if you think this is a bad thing, having these things, please let me know in the comments. Should we not have a cap? Should there be no cap at all on a deductible? Should it be you could pay 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, or 4,000, 5,000? Is no cap better? Is a $35 a month insulin cap not a good thing? Because before this, there was no cap. You could spend 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 a month on insulin. And I'll show you the costs here in a second. Quote, this is what Republicans on the Senate financing said, Langford said, quote, prescription drug prices are too high for many critical drugs, which demonstrates the need for more competition and more options for consumers. This is what the Republicans are saying, right? So what they say here is, unfortunately, the Democrats' new government drug price control is in their so-called Inflation Reduction Act, creates even more barriers to effectively bring down the cost of prescriptions, particularly for senior adults on Medicare. They argue that price controls never work. Instead, they exacerbate the problem to seek the resolve. Mandating fixed prescription drug pricing will ultimately result in the shortening of American lives. So, I'm not even sure if I can wrap my head around that. If passed, the bill states it would make it so the drug pricing measures in the Inflation Reduction Act had never been enacted. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre lambasted the bill on Twitter, saying it puts the Republican redaction of this, if it were to pass, if they take over the House and Senate, they could pass this, saying special interest before working families, like the pharmaceutical industry. She says their Republican new bill is a giveaway to big pharmaceutical companies at the expense of seniors by ending Medicare's new ability to negotiate lower prescription drug pricing. Their vision for the country is extreme and out of touch with working families across the country. President Biden says they're saying they're going to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act if they gain control of Congress. Let's be clear what that means. If Republicans take control over Congress, it means the power we just gave to Medicare to negotiate the prescription drug prices goes away, gone. Prices just go back up and they can charge us whatever they want, which is what they're doing now. Now, let's just look at this objectively. Let's look at what has happened here over the last couple years, the last 5 years, the last 10 years. We'll just look at what's happened because right now it's a free market. So competition has been, they've had free competition, okay? Well, here's kind of what's happened. Insulin costs have increased 600% over the last year, the last 20 years. So insulin costs have we'll look at insulin first. We'll look at a few more here in a second. But yet the price of insulin only costs $2 to $3 to produce and up to $6 to produce. So there's different kinds of insulin. It costs $2 to $6 for these prescription drug companies to produce insulin, okay? And yet what they charge for insulin, right? This is what they charge people. Let me show you, right? I'll come out of the screen here for a second. Here's what they charge for insulin. $714 for 5 pens, $393 per vial. Again, different types of insulins. You can see here, this is what they're charged here, $328 for 5 pens, $119 for a pen, $336 for 5 pens. $347 for 5 pens, $698. I mean, again, you can look at all these different types here. $589, $354, $168, $720. Look at this one, $1,837. There's some that are cheap that are $70. That's just what they're cheap. Yeah, but remember they cost $2 to $6 to produce. So even when they're cheap at $50, $26, $7, it still costs them $2 to produce. So when the cheap ones are $26, it costs them $2 to produce. So they're still making 10 times their money when they produce that, right? So don't be fooled by the pharmaceutical companies thinking that they need innovation, because that hasn't worked, okay? That's like the big oil companies, and remember OPEC? The big oil companies and the Saudi Arabians and Russia just teamed up together with the OPEC nations to lower oil production by 2 million barrels a day, so that they could raise the price of oil. And the price of oil has already gone up $10 a barrel just in a few days since they did that. Why did they do that? Okay, and that wasn't even the US. The US isn't part of OPEC and OPEC Plus. That was Saudi Arabia and Russia. Why did they do that? They did that so they could get more money out of you and everybody around the world. Big oil and big oil nations do that so they could get more money out of you. So when they manufacture insulin and prescription drug pricing, and you could look up any type of prescription drug, they're raking you over the coals. They're gouging you and wringing every dollar out of you. Why is that? Because they know they can. They know you need it. They know you can't go without it. And they can charge you whatever they want. These guys aren't your friend. They're literally charging you as much as they can. And up until this point, they're basically not regulated. Okay? They're able to charge you whatever they want. So here's the thing, is that if nobody's able to negotiate the price, what do you think they're going to charge you? Go ahead, you can answer it. Let me know in the comment section. Right now, and here's the thing, is that when they're selling it to the government, like Medicare and Medicaid, they charge even more, because big government, what do they think of when they hear, ooh, the government's going to buy it? Cha-ching, 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 money. What do they think of when insurance is going to buy it? Money. But ultimately, you guys end up paying it because you're paying the deductibles, you're paying the premiums, those monthly premiums, you're paying the Medicare Part B monthly premiums, you're paying the deductibles out of your paychecks, you're paying that monthly premium if you go to work and you pay, coming out of your paychecks. Ultimately, you do end up paying it one way or another. And this is why healthcare has got more and more expensive. In fact, let me show you this. The US per capita healthcare spending is over twice the average of other wealthy countries, because they just literally charge us whatever they want. Have you ever gone to the emergency room and you're there for like an hour and the bill is thousands of dollars? Yeah. Look at this. I mean, Canada is $5,900 average healthcare cost per capita. Ours is $12,318, more than double. You look at these other countries, we're triple, we're double, we're quadruple. I mean, we're just literally absolutely crushing them in cost. We're off the charts. And there again, these are the top, the other countries that are in the top. Think about all the other countries that aren't even close to us. And then when it comes to administrative costs per capita, the United States is also the highest by a long shot. In fact, we're about 3 times more than any other country. And again, just not even on the Richter scale. When it comes to long-term care per capita, we're not the highest, but there's only a few companies more than us. And the only reason for that is because it's not covered by the government in general. You have to pay for your own long-term care. It's not generally covered by health insurance. You have to pay extra for long-term care, and a lot of people don't have long-term care coverage. And that's the only reason why we're not the most expensive in the world. We're like the sixth or seventh most expensive in the world. Imagine that. So here's my question to you. Should we get rid of these costs? Should we not have a $35 a month cap on insulin? Should we not have Medicare be able to negotiate down lower costs for prescription drug pricing? Should we say, you know what, just let them charge whatever they want instead of being able to negotiate these prices down? Which, by the way, did you know that the VA, Veterans Affairs, has been negotiating prescription drugs for years? They're actually allowed to. And here's a release back from the end of 2020 and 2021 from the Government Accountability Office. This shows you that it works. The Department of the Veterans Affairs, the VA, or veterans who actually serve our country, paid about half as much as Medicare Part D for selected drugs in 2017. This is, I just Googled this literally in 60 seconds. I paused the video right there real quick and Googled this. So this shows you that it works because the VA is allowed to negotiate the costs of this. Okay? So why would we not want to have Medicare and private health care insurance to do this? Why would we not want to cap insulin at $35 a month instead of letting companies charge us 500 or 700 or 1,000? Remember, they only pay $2 to $7 to make it. So I would think $35 a month is plenty of profit for them. Do they need to charge us 700? And remember that there's other places. I mean, this literally shows you here. I mean, if the VA can do it and has been doing it for years, why would we not want to have other parts of the government and private healthcare doing the same thing? And remember that the government does such a bad job at this because Congress literally won't pass things like this. They finally passed something. The Democrats had to do it on their own because Republicans all voted no on it because I don't know. You let me know your thoughts in the comments. And now they want to repeal it because, oh, we want the prescription drug companies to be able to have innovation and we want them to be able to compete. Compete with who? Compete with each other? They've been doing that for 20 years. I mean, if you're a Republican, please let me know your thoughts on this in the comments because I'm flabbergasted. It hasn't been working up to this point, and they've had the last 100 years to compete on the free market. And all that's been happening, just like colleges, the cost has completely skyrocketed. I mean, the cost of like gas, the cost of college, and the cost of prescription drug and healthcare are three things I can think of off the top of my head that have just completely skyrocketed. So, and I mean, you look at things like, I mean, I get that people want to blame gas on Biden and stuff, but you look at gas in other countries all around the world, it's actually a lot higher. And gas is, you look at countries like OPEC, OPEC Plus, Russia and Saudi Arabia, they just cut 2 million barrels a day because they're purposely manipulating the market. And you look at countries over in Europe, they're paying $6, $7, $8 a gallon gas if you equate it to U.S. dollars and U.S. gas US dollars and US gallons. Um, these companies and these, OPEC nations and stuff, and the pharmaceutical industries, and even colleges, they know exactly what they're doing. And they're trying to take advantage of you, the consumer, so they can get every dollar out of you because you're forced to do it. If you need that degree, you got to go to college. You need gas to put in your car or in your home to heat your home, you got no other choice. You need a prescription drug to lower your blood pressure or to save your life, buy it, or else what other choice do you have? So let me know your thoughts here in the comments, and I'll keep you up to date here on everything going on here in our country on a daily basis, and we'll see what happens. So make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. Click the bell icon after you subscribe, and new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to like this video as well, and I'll keep you up to date. You can click this video here to see my newest video about stimulus checks. Actually, some are coming out this week to millions of Americans, up to $1,000. And here's my newest video on Social Security raises as well. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.